Talk. My name is Andrew.
And my name is Anthony. So today we have a few things. Here, let me just take a look. So we have the Zimmerman trial, the Asiana flight. We have Dzhokhar Tsarnaev. We also have the Boston Strangler case. We're going to talk about Northwest. And there'll be a future segment which will be described shortly.
Canada.
But to start off, we're going to talk about the Boston Strangler. So have you guys heard? Solid 50 years later. Pretty cool. See, look at that. Can't read it, but it's a picture. So basically, this guy, Albert, and his nephew, Tim, are the big contenders on solving the case. So Albert was the one that actually confessed to, doing all of this. But Tim, which is his nephew, a water bottle was taken from him from a construction site. And they took the water bottle and swabbed pretty much the DNA from it, and they sent it in, and it was a 99.9% match of any of the DNA that was matched on the actual 11 people that were killed. Now, all of these people were women. We're probably not going to get much into why they're women, but basically we're going to talk about how this is, would you consider this like invasion of privacy a little bit? They just kind of like took his water bottle and swabbed it.
I mean, I guess it depends on how they got it. If they just grabbed it out of his lunchbox, you can't really follow that path to get evidence and stuff like that. But once you throw it in the trash, it is technically public property.
Yeah.
Many cases have been solved like that before, where it's as soon as you throw trash onto the curb, the police can go through it. I mean, it's really, I don't call it invasion of privacy. I said it before we started. It's a little bit stalkerish, don't you think? You're following this person. That's like me saying, I'm gonna follow you because I thought you did something really bad until you screw up, and then I'm gonna take you. I want to show you a TV show. It's called NCIS. This is the entire plot of that show. But they have very strong leads. This one, it seems, the article at least, describes only that, I'm gonna take a water bottle and swab it. Well, also in the article, they explain how the guy confessed when he was in prison, but then died. So they never actually got to take him to trial. So I think it was just kind of the cold case that they were trying to bring it up, and this was evidence to help. They knew that if he was related to his DNA, would be able to match some of the DNA that they found from past evidence. So I think it was just them trying to put a name to the crime and to get the definite answer of, was this really him?
Yeah, I think that when you put it like that, it makes it sound better than it actually does. But when I still think it's a little weird that they had to completely, if someone admitted to the crime, why not just kind of go with it?
They never, I think from what I read, it was just kind of, they never got to fully get the confession, and they want to, even with a confession, they still do a final investigation. Even if they do confess, they do a final investigation. When they confess, they just kind of give them all the evidence they need.
Yeah, so they just
confirm it. Yeah, so I think what they're just doing now is just trying to wrap up all the loose ends to get it all in together and get everything squared away so they can finally shut the case and get the answers that they needed.
Now, I'd like to also point out how this is I think it's pretty cool how they can still kind of do this from 50 years ago, and they can just kind of pull off the forensics and be like, oh, well, this matched this, and now they solve cases.
Yeah, I mean, he's been dead for 30 years, and they went and they matched the DNA off this water bottle to a corpse that's been rotting for 30 years.
Like I said, 99.9% match.
Over that amount of time is pretty impressive.
I think it's really impressive, actually. I was going to go somewhere with that, and I honestly don't remember. It was, do you think there's going to be more cases like this now that's going to pop up? If there are any more cases that are still unsolved, and they'll
I mean, they go along these paths to solve cold cases like this all the time. I mean, it happens constantly. I mean, with this, it's that big of a case that it got a lot of headline news and that it's that popular. I mean, I'm sure that there are going to be a lot more popular cold cases that will come up and that they can get the answers to, but I'm sure it's not the end.
I think that would be pretty cool, though, to solve all of the past crimes that can be solved, with, latent technology. But now it's all
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is an actual thing. The one in Europe, the Jack the Ripper.
Oh yeah, Jack the Ripper.
In Europe.
No, it was in England. But no, I think with all this new technology, this is going to be kind of it's going to be pretty cool to see if more cases come up like this. But in terms of this trial, I still think it's pretty remarkable 50 years later that they can pull up stuff like this. And with the, I guess, and you do have a point, you know, when they throw away trash, it's public property.
Yeah, once it's on the curb, it becomes public property. The government can go through it. They don't actually need a warrant to even do that. They can just rip through it.
It just teaches you, you know, if you're going to be, you know,
if you're a criminal,
if you're going to criminal, don't throw stuff away. You are going to contain your trash within inside of you and
contain your trash within inside of you. Eat
go
your
from
water
there.
bottles when they're done.
So, Andrew's going to introduce us to our next topic, which is...
So, Kim Kardashian and Kanye West had a baby.
Oh, great.
Let's talk about this
I love how we're going to jump a few.
I'm still
All
reading
right.
this one.
So, Northwest is the name of the child. Now, I don't know what was going through their head. I don't know why you would name a child North.
Here's the thing.
Just like I don't know why people name...
Let me explain
Okay,
something.
go ahead, because I'm going to go on a rant.
Look at who you're talking about. We have Kim Kardashian, pictured here, and Kanye West, pictured here. And these are two people who really don't have a brain in their head. I mean, Kim Kardashian is famous for being an idiot. I mean, there's really nothing... I don't know what you're doing.
Just keep going.
There's really nothing... Like, she's not that intelligent. She's famous for just because of her family name. And then you have Kanye West, who, I mean, is kind of a genius with music. But, I mean, past that, not too much. And, I mean, when you give these two people control over a child's name, you're going to get something dumb.
All right, let's try to do something. Let's try to list off 5 reasons of why we think someone would name their child North.
Alcohol, drugs, fame, Kim Kardashian. I need to
You can count.
No sleep.
And you could say Kanye. But I mean...
I didn't want to say Kanye.
Didn't you really, you know, like, why wouldn't they think about why they would name their child North? Like, this kid's going to have an awful time if he has to go to school, going through school. Like, hi.
He's a celebrity kid. He's definitely not going to school.
That was kind of redundant. But I mean, like, what if you named your child North Ryan?
I just hate I mean, with them, it's kind of catchy. And it seems like it would be a cool nickname, but don't actually name your kid North.
I mean, like, what else could you have named your child? I mean, you could have named it
Keith.
Normal names. Andrew.
I don't.
Andrew West.
Adam West.
Adam West.
Batman.
No. But it is a little ridiculous that they had to name their child North. Steph, our you know, TriCaster switcher right now, she said, why don't you name it South so you get free Southwest service? I don't think that's necessary because they probably have a private jet. Probably
these
two.
Are two very wealthy people.
Very, very wealthy people. Do you think he'll change his name in the future?
Oh, yeah.
To South?
Yeah. No. The kid wants a normal name as fast as he can. I don't see why you'd want to live. That kid's gonna get harassed. I mean, he's been like less than a month old and is already getting all this crap. I mean, kid's having a rough life.
Yeah. So North is a girl. Just in case there was any, you know.
Well, I keep up with my news. Listen.
That's even worse. Like.
I haven't been watching.
North. If I had to pick North as a name, North would be a guy's name. I don't know why.
Listen, I apologize. I take all the him comments back. But I'm a couple seasons behind on keeping up with the Kardashians right now, so I'm not fully there yet.
I'm not even there yet. I don't even
Chloe and Lamar just got married. I hope I got the right sister.
I think you did. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Can Kim still take over Miami?
Courtney. There was a show about Miami.
That's really all I know about them. They're a bunch of rodent people that I don't like, and they should probably just not exist.
Aren't they famous because their father was like the lawyer on the O.J. Simpson trial or something like that?
They're all famous for various reasons, but yes.
Which leads us into our next topic.
Oh, our next topic.
Look at that plug.
So the Aviation.
Don't blow it.
All right, we'll talk about Joe Carr. So Joe Carr. So he pled not guilty to the Boston bombings in 3 cases. I don't know what the 3 cases are because I don't have them in front of me. But the 3 cases he pled not guilty to. If you have enough information, you know, that you're pretty much surrounded at this point. It's like throwing yourself into a well and saying that you can still get out when there's no way of getting out. Did you like that analogy?
I'm trying to think of the joke. What is that one? Like the dog always runs up and as soon as he fell in the well. There's definitely a story about.
I don't know what you're doing, but he pled not guilty. He has all of this information against him.
Did he confess?
No.
I thought he confessed.
No,
he was going to, and then he got read his rights and then gave up on it.
Yeah. Even though that was said in the previous episode where no one read him his rights right on the end. 3 months ago. But it's still a little, he pled not guilty. I don't know how. Like, if I had all of those things, put up against me and all the evidence, and I know all the evidence is there because it's all over social media, and again, said in previous episodes on how social media is big, but I don't know how you can still plead not guilty. Now, personally, I would still plead guilty because, I still think everyone deserves a trial. But I don't know how Andrew feels about this as he types on the iPad. Switch shots.
I mean, I think it's kind of like the understood that you plead not guilty. It gives you the fighting chance. You don't want to give up instantly. I think he has the hopes that he can still get away with it. I mean, I think he just doesn't want to go down without a fight.
I'm going to burst your bubble, but
make it as expensive as possible.
You're going to go down pretty fast. All right, so next we could talk about we'll talk about the Asiana flight 214. So it crashed because it came in
too steep.
Yeah, it came in too steep. So when it was like 500 feet above the ground, there was basically nothing else I could really do but crash.
Yeah, this was a flight coming in from Seoul, North Korea, one of the Koreas. It was a transatlantic flight coming in, and I just on approach came in a little too steep, caught its tail and ended up barreling down the runway. The fireball burst through the cabin, ripping it apart. There was a lot of broken stuff. And
pretty miraculous. 98% of the flight got off, walked off unharmed. Well, injured, but not like.
There was a lot of hospital visits.
There was a lot of hospital visits, but not a lot of people were actually killed. Actually, only 2 of them were, and they were females, which almost leads to my theme of women stuff, because that almost involved everything. But that's pretty miraculous. Kudos to the pilot, that I was watching the video.
Yeah, I mean, he did, this was a tough situation. They still crashed, but it could have been much worse than it was.
They could have just nosedived right in and just been like, let's end it.
Someone played a lot of Flight Simulator.
So I was watching the video, and they were saying that most accidents happen within 3 seconds of takeoff or 8 minutes approaching a landing. That's when most plane crashes occur for various reasons, none listed. But
it's just because of the speeds that you're dealing with. You can easily just undershoot speeds, or it's just something will go wrong right away, or at the end of the flight. I mean, you can run out of fuel. These things are set for a certain distance and they're fixed for a certain distance. So if it's just things deteriorate towards the end, you can run out of fuel easily, or just still knock up the speed and you'll crash.
Because once you're up in the air at coasting speeds, and I know it's gonna seem very hard for people to believe this, but listen to me, you're fine. Once you're in the air, up there, coasting. Because the only thing that you'll hit is turbulence, and turbulence most nearly never, ever,
that's right.
causes a plane crash.
And then there's
pilots are
very rare case. I think something came up a couple weeks ago where 2 planes were within 300 feet of each other in the air, and that's something that's incredibly rare, and that's a huge mistake. But still, even at that point, they all walked away. Nothing happened.
Pilots, all of the, the control towers, all of them, they really monitor the air very well. You are very, very safe. I also saw it, I think it was 1 in 41 million flights is a plane crash.
Yeah, you can fly. You can fly every day for 100 years.
It was 186 years. No, 286. 286 years you could fly an airplane every day if you even live to 286. And your chances are 1 in that many days of flying airplanes.
Air traffic, aviation at this point has gotten down to a science. They have this all
It is a
shoot
science.
down. We have all this insanely high tech technology to like watch all these planes and get everything set. They have this down to a science, and it's one of those things where they have this done. You're almost safer in the air than you are in a car now. And
it is that is the statistic. You're more likely to get in a car accident than you are in an airplane. I know this has been a fact for a while.
You're more likely to get killed by a shark on a plane.
It's almost like the lottery. Like your chances of winning the lottery.
I still think you have more.
No, on Megabucks. No, it's awful. The chances for winning Megabucks are getting struck by lightning twice on your birthday.
Mine's next week. Let's test this.
So Andrew, I will try to strike you with lightning twice. But when you turn 18, you're gonna play the lottery and you're gonna win and get struck by lightning twice on the same day.
Well, I think the odds are either this happens or this happens. I think the odds of me winning the lottery while getting struck twice by lightning would be a good birthday. I'd call it a success.
Hey, what happened on your birthday? Yeah, I got struck by lightning twice.
And won like $50 million. I'd be set.
50. It's like, what is it? 243 averages.
Tough economy.
243 cents, that is.
Yeah.
Cents is of millions.
All right, so next.
So the next thing, you wanted to talk about your freight truck in Canada. Go ahead.
A couple of days ago, I don't see the exact date here, oil tank, thanks, I needed that. Good job. An oil tanker in Canada ended up derailing while carrying 73, how would you call it, 73 carts full of crude oil from Alberta, Canada, down to Texas. It ended up derailing for taking a turn a little too fast. Everybody, I think, on it is actually ended up presuming dead. But this ends up raising a huge question of, is it safer to carry oil in these trains, or is it better to build the pipelines? What's safer?
Nothing safer.
With the BP oil spill a while ago, it kind of raised the question of what is the acceptable way to transfer this?
And let's throw it back even more. Exxon, that was a pipeline.
I don't remember the Exxon.
That was a pipeline, right? Yeah, that was a pipeline in Alaska that blew. I don't know what it did. I think it either blew up. But more facts on this. The death toll was 50. And the driver said he applied 11 handbrakes before the actual accident, which, according to this article, they believe it's not true. I also believe it's not true. 11 handbrakes? Do you have 11 handbrakes?
Did you not see the movie Unstoppable?
No, I didn't.
Oh, great movie. You guys see that? I mean, yeah, they ended up doing it where there's like a handbrake per, for all the different cars. Each car has separate ones you can control what ones are going on and off.
But 11 of them? How many carts were there?
74.
Oh, well, okay. Never mind.
Wait, listen.
73. There were 73 cars carrying oil,
yeah,
and
so
5 of them exploded. So this led to fires in 30 buildings in Maine? Canada?
Just off
the border.
Of the border,
yeah. There was.
It definitely makes you wonder, is this the safest way to be doing this, where things like this can happen? It raises a huge environmental thing, because now that area is going to be a dead zone. It's filled with all this fuel and gasoline and stuff like that. There's nothing that you can really produce there. I mean, you kind of just ruin that natural habitat, the animals around there.
Now, to give you a rail statistic, the railroad, 36.1 accidents per million miles traveled. That's still a lot. 36.1 per million miles. So
I mean, how many millions of miles does a train travel in its lifetime?
Yeah, I mean, it'll travel millions of miles in its lifetime, but on the course of what we're talking about, from one place to another. Again, this also leads to saying that you're safer in an airplane than a train or a car.
Just don't go out. Just live in.
Just stay in your house.
Become a hermit. Play Xbox. New one comes out in the fall. Just do it.
Oh, we could talk about that. So.
Yeah, Xbox One.
Versus PlayStation 4.
What are you buying?
I'm buying the Xbox One.
Wise man.
Are you buying the Xbox One?
Oh yeah, I'm pre-ordering it as soon as I get the money. Of course, it came up that my brother and another one of our friends is switching to the dark side and going with the PlayStation 4.
Now, you were telling me this. So Xbox has this, impression / reputation that it has, where once it's released once it's announced, like not like when the actual Xbox is released, like the release date and like at E3 pretty much, and whatever Xbox does its release, the keynotes, they tend to be kind of low. Their statistics tend to be very low standard. Everyone doesn't like the new stuff that they put on it.
As soon as the thing is, with like anything that comes out, there's always going to be that person who hates it. There's always going to be those people that are trying to pick it apart and trying to just like they just want to kind of figure out what's wrong. I mean, like this is something that you don't even have. These people are ripping it apart. There was a lot of things that people will complain about. But the thing is now, which I'm not too happy with, they brought like the Xbox One. It was trying to do a thing where they were trying to make everything digital. They were trying to get rid of all like like the discs and everything like that, and trying to bring it all to make it like a more inclusive experience, everything like that. They have the Kinect, which is like a virtual sensor, to bring in all these features and stuff, and everybody hated them. So they went back on themselves. They cut it all out. They basically went back and made the Xbox 360 again, and now everyone's signing petitions to bring it back. They're bringing that stuff back now. It's like these people are all complaining about it, and now they're petitioning to bring it back. It's like,
see, and here was the other factor that other people didn't like. They didn't like that it was connected to the internet the whole time.
Yeah, everyone's arguing like they because again, like they were doing like an always online thing where you're gonna be online once every 24 hours, and again that brings into the whole.
See, I mean
it's all up on the internet. All your games are gonna be downloaded from a server. You're not gonna have a physical disc and stuff like that.
I mean, that doesn't. I mean, I don't know how that ticks people off. Like that doesn't aggravate me. Like your computer's connected to the internet all the time. Your phone's connected to the internet all the time, whether you believe it or not.
I mean, there's always going to be like an exception to all these things. Like the one thing that the people are arguing about, where the people who live in like small towns out in like the middle of nowhere, where they can't really necessarily get good internet, or like soldiers out on a ship or out in like a sub that are out there. But I mean, realistically, this is a small majority. But I mean,
hold on. I'm going to bring back the invasion of privacy that we were talking about earlier. Even though that wasn't really. But that people were aggravated because it was going to be connected to the internet all the time. The Kinect is a camera that's pretty much going to be watching you the whole time. But
1080p full HD.
1080 full HD. That's it.
I mean, that's something that people are always going to be worried about. I mean, there's people who will end up putting like stickers over their laptops to the camera. I mean, I'm sure that you can just put a blanket over this thing and it won't be seen.
I mean, I think the system's going to be like really amazing.
I mean, you have a Kinect.
I have a Kinect. I don't feel like stalked all the time, and I'm connected to the internet all the time. I'm one of the biggest people that's connected to the internet that I know of.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, like, even if this looks in on you playing, it's going to look in on you playing. That's how it works. But this thing's here to give you a better experience. They're trying to make your Xbox a touchscreen in a sense. And it's like, it's a cool feature coming for you. If you don't, they've gone in and they've taken all that stuff out now if you don't want it. But it's like, I'm sure that people at Microsoft aren't going to want to watch you sitting at home watching Netflix. Like, that's not a big deal to them.
And the other thing that didn't really help with this was the whole IRS.
Oh, yeah,
that totally didn't help with everything, that they were monitoring phone calls. So people were turned off about the Xbox because, now, the IRS is monitoring phone calls.
And I mean, I also want to put something into this real quick. So here's my phone. Now I use this thing, we're using this camera, I use this thing all day. Most people in today's, you'd say, would have a smartphone, right?
Yeah, I have a smartphone.
There's a thing right here. This is called a front-facing camera. They can do the same thing with this that any of that's going to do. I mean, you don't have a problem with the fact that your phone has a camera pointed at you. That iPad that's dirty is.
This is an iPad, for those of you who don't know. Please, thank you.
There's a camera.
There's a camera here. There's two cameras. There's one here and there's one here.
The front-facing one. I don't think people can. But it's like you have all these things. I'm sure if someone wanted to spy on you, they have all these ways. It's not a big deal. I'm sure that like I said, there's not somebody who wants to like sit there and spy on you all day. They really don't care.
Maybe what's his face there? Maybe Tim. He had a Kinect. Maybe he had a Kinect, and they just knew he went to work whenever, and they went and retrieved his water bottle.
I mean, also, there's these people that are always going to be worried about that someone's spying on them, everything like that, and you really can't do anything about that. Every electronic runs these things. They can tell, they run all these stats. I'm sure Xbox knows how many of their connects are running. Your phone, like Apple probably knows how many of their phones are people are actually using, how many are still in touch. You send out updates with your phone when it updates. It gets all this stuff. I mean, no one's spying on you. People, like, you can send out your data, like if something crashes on like Windows, you send it out and they'll fix it. But like, it's not a big deal.
My only thing is, to the people who are complaining about, invasion of privacy, become Amish. That's all I have to say.
Just don't buy it.
Don't buy it. Don't.
But the other thing, that going back to the whole Xbox thing with the internet, there was the people where they were talking about the soldiers who are on a tour, and the head of Xbox, Don Mackey, was in an interview was saying like that there already is this thing for you. It's like you don't have to buy it. Like no one's saying that you have to go buy this new Xbox. If you don't want it, you don't want it. I mean, we're focused on Xbox, but the same thing. People are having issues with PlayStation 4. There's always going to be these issues. But like, if you don't want it, just don't buy it. And that's what this guy, like, he was saying this in an interview. Like the soldiers, there already is a thing for you. There's an Xbox 360. It does the same thing. You can play your games. I mean, I'm sure we can figure out something. You don't have to have the newest in technology while you're out there. I mean,
yeah, I mean that's it. But I mean, also, if you're not getting the newest technology, you're considered backwards in society.
Yeah, I mean, like it's not really too big of a deal because like there are. I mean, I still play my 360 all the time. I
play with you.
I've gone back and I played my original one that came out 12 years ago. It's like you can still go back and have fun with it. It's not a big. They're still producing stuff for this Xbox.
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna continue for a while, so it's not a big deal. Like it's just people getting angry over nothing. If you don't want it, then don't buy it.
And I think, and to be honest, I think with the way that they have the games going now, with you get this. Basically, what was going to happen was you were going to get this product key, and you would put it in the Xbox, and then you download it from their thing.
Xbox Marketplace, like now.
What?
You just buy it from the Marketplace.
There you go. But with stuff like that, I think personally that's still way more secure than people are giving it credit for.
The thing is, there's another thing. There's another service out there. It's called Steem, which is a computer version of the store.
Yeah.
So you go out, you buy games, you download it. And with this thing, you got to be connected to the internet all day. Every time you want to play the game. If not, it's incredibly difficult to play. You can't sell back the games. That was another thing that people were very angry about, was the fact that like there's no used games and stuff.
Yeah, God forbid that you go sell a game back and you get $2 back.
Yeah, you're not getting your money back.
You're not getting your money back. But people go out there and get used games.
I know that there's people who go out, they buy their game and they sell it back because they don't want it. I mean, my brother does that. He'll play a game and he'll sell it back to get money for another one. But like, I have a collection of games sitting in my house. I like to have them all. I actually personally rather have them all on like a hard drive where I know that I'm not going to snap a disc or anything like that, and it's on a hard drive where they've since reversed this. There was a DRM thing where you couldn't download games again, but they've since reversed it where, what if the hard drive? I was getting to that, Steph. Thank you for cutting me off. There's this. You can always, like, if your hard drive breaks or something like that, there's always that case. But you buy another one, and you can always re-download it from. We'll pause.
Keep talking.
You can always go back and re-download it from the Marketplace. iTunes does that, where if you get a new computer, you always just go back, download movies again. You can always come back and re-download it. You just prove that you're you, and that this is your new Xbox and everything like that. And it's not a big deal. I think it's just people making a big deal. It's gonna come out, people are gonna get it, and it's gonna be like, this is the way that this works, and I like it. But I think it's just it was the way that they worded it. They threw too much out at once, that people kind of got lost in what was coming out and where the big scope of things were. Because like, since they took everything away and like they're slowly reintroducing things, and people are starting to understand like what this was supposed to be and how these things work, I think people are becoming more open to it. And
I think just to start closing up on the subject, because we're hitting a half-hour mark.
Oh, we're going E3.
So people, what I have to say is, don't judge what you don't have. I mean, It's really all I have to say. Because if you're judging what you don't have, you don't know anything about it. And like you said, you were telling me before, with the Xbox 360, when it came out back then, when they announced it at E3, people didn't like it right at the beginning. People hated that. They hated it.
People hated the Wii. People have hated the PlayStations, everything like that. But I mean, they're great. They're great systems. They work fine. And I still play mine 3 years later.
So, like I said, don't judge it until you try it.
So now to Anthony for the weather.
Thank you, Andrew. Here is our Woburn forecast for this week. So as you can see, on Saturday, it'll be 66, mostly sunny, and a low of 54. On Sunday, it will also be 66. It'll be mostly cloudy this time, though, with a low of 54. Now, on Monday, 64 again with, mostly sunny, and it's going to be 54, another great low. Step over here for a second. On Tuesday, it'll be 65, partly cloudy, and it'll be 54 as well. Now on Wednesday, very rare forecast, as you can see. R is for rare. It'll be 66, with a low of 53, excuse me, I can't read today, and it's going to be partly cloudy with a chance of R. That is your forecast for the week of July 13th to the 17th. And back to Andrew.
All right, so if you like this, you can like us on Facebook.com at WPMC It's Time to Talk, or subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/WPMCITT. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day, and see you guys later.
Don't judge till you try it.